Okay, I feel like the most pressing issue in the tech world today is what would Twitter look like if Elon Musk actually bought it?
Oh, yeah.
He put in an offer today. Do you see that?
Yeah, no poop, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Just like if you hadn't looked at your phone in the last 3 hours.
Yeah.
What would he do with it?
No, I love it. I want him to buy Apple next. Can he fix the Apple next? Anything he can piss off about the line. He's like, you know what sucks? The federal government. I'll put it in. I don't know. I love the takes. Like people that don't understand how takeovers work. And they're like, wait, what's happening? He's buying more shares? He's going to get it? This is going to be terrible. No man should be allowed to own this much of a company.
I think I share Elon's take that Twitter is a wildly undervalued company.
Yeah.
And I think there's no chance he's probably going to get to buy it for what he's offered. And
Yeah.
I think
36% above.
I think the move, right, is like they say no, he announces a competitor, the competitor doesn't work, but in the process, Twitter's price goes down.
They say no, he sells off his stock.
Yeah.
The shareholders sue the board for saying no.
Yeah, but that happens every day. Like, I think that's just like normal public company bullshit. I think that it's look. I think the truth is like they nailed distribution.
But-
It's the
but
most
if-
important media company that there is.
But if the value drops by like 50% post.
That's happened like 3 times the last few years.
But not,
in the last year already did that.
not related to a single decision where the board made a choice to push the share price down 50%, right?
Yeah, but I think the Twitter board probably also thinks it's like highly undervalued as a company, and instead of a $40 billion company, it should be an $800 billion company, and they just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's whatever. I think it's good tech public market drama. I think it would be hilarious if Elon owned it. I can't quite imagine he has that much time in the day, though he keeps manufacturing more time in the day, so maybe.
Yeah. I kept watching Jack just get his ass kicked and have to go on like month-long meditation retreats and get hauled in front of Congress and being like, that job looks terrible. Why would anyone want to do that?
No, he for sure would not CEO it, right?
Well, in the process, I learned right, Jack owns 2% of Twitter.
That's it?
Elon owns 4.5 times as much of Twitter already as Jack does. Like, that's so crazy. Yes.
Sip that burners, Al.
Well, yeah. No, it is. If we were doing a tech roundup, it's like Twitter. What else is ridiculous? Right?
Fast.
Fast, yeah.
Do you have any empathy for that guy?
Well, I did until I got to know him more. I feel like as soon as you start listening to his stuff, it's the same as like the Robinhood CEO when he went on during the GME stuff, and you're like, oh man, you shouldn't have opened your mouth because like now everybody hates you. But before we thought, no, there's probably good intentions. Just want to ride. Turns out you're terrible.
100 million's a lot to burn in a year.
I don't know. I'm going to say, like, I probably...
Some of your best times were the 100 million.
Yeah, no, look, I think it hasn't gone really smoothly. I think that that is one of those things where when someone offers you $100 million, part of the calculus that they make is like, hey, maybe this guy's crazy or maybe he's brilliant. And more often than not, it breaks the crazy way. But when it breaks the brilliant way, it ends up being an amazing investment. Do not think people did not say that exact thing about Elon multiple times. It just turned out that he was right.
Adam Newman.
Or Adam Newman.
So I think it's one of those, like, I think I have empathy for him because, like, when someone offers you $100 million because you hand waved really well and you said you're going to one-click the internet and they give it to you, you're not going to say, like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, actually, I'm insane. You're going to say, like, yes, let's go see if we can pull it off. And the investors on the other side, like, they made a bad bet.
I think that's the hilarious bit is like this guy, like, there's no way he was, like, he did nothing to show that he could pull it off, right? Like, you would see at least some indicators along the way that, like, he could build a team that was going to go and execute. So.
I wonder if it was like one of those things where VC1 saw that VC2 funded a one-click checkout company and was like, we can't not be in that space. Let's fund any lunatic that walks in the door, like, no matter how long the odds are.
Lyft and Uber? Is that how that went? Yeah.
No, like that one actually is that worked out great for both of them. But there was like 4 of them. Do you remember in San Francisco at that time? There was like an orange one with door mirror pockets, and like there's a ton of those things.
No, there's always space for a number 2, right? But
I think that
I don't think that's what this was.
chronically underestimate that part of the job, even at $100 million of investment for VCs, is to take risks that might seem crazy but might pay off.
Yeah.
And then they get super excited about the fail porn when they go to zero. Yeah. But like, that's how the ecosystem works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to fail 9 times and make it.
Yeah, and so some are big and some are small, and some you never hear about, and some because they have just the perfect guy who wants the fame, even though he had the failure, who goes out and is fine looking like an idiot. It's. I think it's just part of the deal, and
it's yeah.
But then the one-click company, the Ryan is it Ryan Burlow?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's such an entertaining person to watch on Twitter as well. But like, apparently his company's crushing it.
Was fast until it wasn't. Like, and
do we know what Volt's numbers are? Do they ever tell us? How much
no, but that's exactly
but he
like
says crushing it, like with so much conviction.
exactly.
The fast guy, he started to have doubt, and when he was, like, I knew. I think we all knew.
Oh God, that guy. That playbook pisses me off because it shouldn't work, but it does. Like everyone talks about him because he's doing annoying, stupid, like mean things to people.
I'm brave enough to call out Patrick Collison as a murderous boss. Which I've met Patrick, he's a nut.
Yeah, like,
but so are most mob bosses. Very gentle, soft-spoken.
Oh God, yeah.
Who's to say? He just had one. It was Sequoia in the New York Times. You see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
I love it. I love a little bit. I mean, just if Elon buys the whole platform, just think what can happen. Here's the big question: does Elon put Donald Trump back on? Does he
Ryan Breslow is the CEO. Donald Trump's account's back.
Dude, I could see that guy just like mix it all up to watch the world burn, and we just laugh the whole time. I think that, like, what if it was just a great trolling moment for Elon?
Do you think he really believes that like life is a simulation and he's just playing a video game? Like, how close to actually acting in that life do you think he is?
Wait, are you saying do we all believe that?
Yeah.
You know what? Wait, what are we talking about right now?
Level 3. Okay. Should we talk about ourselves instead of just our opinions? Our fund?
Yeah, what
The fund that we're rolling up?
just a bunch of tall dudes talking about tech. That's what why do you have to make it so complicated?
I don't know, just trying to organize things, I guess. Compulsion, maybe? OCD. Yeah. Q1 recap, portfolio recap.
The rolling fund.
The rolling fund.
Do we have an intro? Is there like some sort of music that plays when we say
We need a
let's talk about the rolling fund?
We need a drum roll.
Oh, that'd be fun.
With like what's the most fun instrument?
Didgeridoo.
A kazoo. Ben plays didgeridoo. We can get a didgeridoo in here.
So does Zach, actually.
Oh no!
I know what doing accordion over didgeridoo. What about what's the thing the Ricola guy's playing?
That's a didgeridoo.
No, that's not a didgeridoo. You're thinking of African tribesmen. I'm thinking of the Nordics.
Yeah, no, a guy in the later hosen standing on a moat.
He's not playing a didgeridoo. I promise.
Didgeridoo sound like it's a real different vibe.
Maori people. I'm talking about Swiss men.
Look, I'm not a geography major. All right, this is. I only know how to.
Now let us tell you about the confidence we have in these companies.
If you like our geography skills, you'll love us as stewards of your capital.
That's not wrong.
Al, do you want to tell us about Wearloom?
Wait, yeah.
No, it's not Wearloom anymore. We're rebranding. They are rebranding. It's gently.com.
Which Eric thought would have been a porn site. It was, I don't know how. What is gently.com? It's just like romance novel excerpts.
Look, after spending like 10 years telling people how to spell Zarly.com, I just commend anybody who has an actual word as their domain. Like that, the ROI on that domain is going to be good.
Like actually just spelled like gently.
Yeah.
Like a surprise at the end.
Yeah. with 5 E's, gently.
Yeah. No, so all right. So the idea on this was Gently is going and crawling all the secondhand marketplaces and aggregating. So like the idea that you could just go look for this purse Model X and see how much it costs from everywhere else. And that's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of tech behind like the ML to match all that stuff because people are not great at writing descriptions or telling you what they're selling. But like the ability to go and sort of on Amazon you have buy it new and then buy it used are all these options. It's like the buy it used for everything that could go be listed anywhere. And the interesting pieces that we saw were like the creating an asset class of your used goods and having a value associated with that. I think is a big play here, just strictly in that data, and then becoming like they have no intent to replace the secondhand platforms, but like sort of letting those be exposed in bigger ways, or letting secondhand actually be the preferred way of buying, because it wasn't so much about is this a thing or where is it, or it's this much here and that much there. It's now just like a unified data feed that can go wherever the marketplace is. And so we thought that was really clever. There's like obviously secondhand is plenty big in its own right. It's even bigger if it becomes more accessible. I would say the things we're most excited about, like the idea of instant value on your stuff and you knowing how much your stuff is worth, and me saying, hey, you might want to list this thing because it's not worth X amount, or the price going up or down. Like
StockX does that really well, like real time, basically auctions values. Like you just feel good opening that app and oh shit, my sneakers are worth $800. Like yeah.
No, so like I think I'm very bullish on that. The thing that I'd be most scared about, or what was the phrase we're using? Not scared.
Nervous, trepidatious.
Like we're excited about a thing. What makes us the most nervous, and then why we love them or whatever. But like the thing that would make me nervous, it's a young team. The founders are young. Good indicators from other investors. Like there's a lot of people propping it up and validating the idea, but it's like it's an ML heavy play, and that's hard to pull off sometimes. They've got a smart CTO, but it's like we were very early. It's like two guys in a dorm room trying to make it happen. And so they're building a team now. All signs are good. They have great growth month over month. Like everything feels really good. But if I was going to call out a thing I was nervous about, it's their first time building a company. And that's why we matter. We'll help them. And then so that was Wearloom, now Gently.
Which is it's a useful product right now. So like people can go and like I sent it to a few people. I'm like, hey, you can go use this thing now. Yeah.
Get daily alerts on your stuff. Like they're not even a website yet. You can do a thing with. It's just like an email alert. Like, hey, we found this thing that you've been looking for. Yeah. Check it out, which is useful. Like the people that I've talked to that like consume secondhand stuff a lot, they're like, oh, that's great. Yeah. And a little bit viral in that. Yeah, it's cool.
Like useful MVP. My first reaction when I first sort of saw this was like, why couldn't this have been done 10 years ago? Like we've had secondhand marketplaces, we've had ThreadUp or whatever, Stitch Up. Where's the actual technology here? But there's like real sort of computing and ML innovation in like actually interpreting all of these different listings with different formats, with different structured data across all these marketplaces and like stitching them all together and creating this huge kind of like table in the back. And there's like proprietary tech and data and cool. Like
it's funny because the company that I'm building, Pretzel, right? There's this layer of like, we'll just go catalog the world's SKUs, the 400 billion SKUs that make up everything you can possibly buy. We'll just index that. It's easy, right? It's like, great, index that times a million permutations of different ways it gets listed. Like that's a very hard challenge to solve. And if they solve it, they'll be in a great spot. But like the catalog of SKUs and then marrying things into that, it's not a solved problem, even for clean databases. Like you go to the grocery store, you can't like the beans on the shelf are not easily matched to the beans on the shelf at the other grocery store. Like that's still an unsolved problem, let alone the secondhand marketplace stuff. So there's a lot of tech opportunity there for sure.
Yeah. And the other one thing that jumped off the page to me with their retention, even at MVP stage, is like super high,
like 96%.
Yeah, which is
nobody unsubscribes from it, which is a good indicator on the product, right? Like people get it and they dig it.
How much can we talk about that? I think so. Round value.
I'm not allowed to disclose how. No, so
I truly don't know what the rules are, and I probably should.
yeah. I mean, we're small checks. We're like 25K to 50K checks.
Yeah.
Especially right now. As we get bigger, as we fill out the round, we'll be a little bit more because we don't want to necessarily do more investments. We just want to do a little bit more dollar-wise in these investments. But right now, everything is going to be 25 to 50K. So.
Okay. And that one was in the Q1 fund. So, subscribers.
Anybody who's in Q1 has exposure to that.
Okay.
Good work, people.
Yeah. Congratulations on owning some Wearloom.
There was like 3 of them, right?
There was 2. Wearloom / Gently. We got a Gently.com and Terran Robotics.
Oh, yeah.
Terran was the other
Give me
Q1.
Terran. What you like? What made you nervous?
Well, Bo was the source of Terran, but I got really excited about it, and I still think Bo thinks we're crazy for doing it, but...
No, I like it. I think it absolutely is in the bucket of...
I mean, this was your brother knew a guy doing a thing?
Yeah, so my brother called me. My brother, who is very sharp, called me and said that one of the very smartest guys he's ever worked with was starting a company in the drone construction space. He was thinking about investing in it personally. We checked it out. Eric did a pretty decent deep dive on it. And it feels like sci-fi that's just in reach, right? Yeah. I think that category of like in reach sci-fi, like, hey, this could work. Could it work in the next year or two? Is it going to take 10? Could it work with $20 million, or does it need $2 billion?
Yeah.
It is in that. If they can pull it off, it could be something really special. So, so we pulled the trigger on that one. I don't know if you want to deep dive into any of it.
Eric wrote like 20 pages on that. It's a great idea.
You got pretty fired up about it.
Yeah.
My feedback was like, dude, there's a 98% chance we're wrong on this. Like, you should not tell people that we did a good job yet.
I didn't know that the takeaway was, hey, we did a good job.
You literally
It was
started with congratulations on being rich.
Yeah. Look, there was an asterisk right next to it. I don't know how much more clear I can be.
I wouldn't say I was enthusiastic. You said I was a billionaire.
All I said was I was excited about it. There's just no guarantee of future billionaire status. Yet. Maybe as we learn more.
I'll be more confident in the future.
Yeah, if they don't go out of business in the next year. No, I got like...
What did you love? Or give us a synopsis and then what you loved and what you...
So I loved that one, super bold, unique, and like looking far out, right? Like there's
the premise is they have like drones that can carry like 20 pounds, right?
It's like imagine like those little quadcopter drones that fly around carrying, I don't know, cameras or whatever, that are getting really, really good, but huge, like 6 rotors, 10 feet across, giant claw on the bottom, and it can fly around carrying these kind of like clay bricks and then fly over with a tool and like impact hammer it into an adobe wall and form a wall or any structure that you design it to do.
Yeah, because they mix up like a clay, and it's not even bricks; they're just like scooping up mud and building and like dropping it where a wall will be, and then forming it up. And it's like, okay, so it's adobe structures that they're going to automate. It's like the idea that you just put 20 drones and then 1,000 drones just running all day, moving this mud around. It's like that is cool.
Yeah, and like to be clear, we are far from that, right? Like that was what I envisioned it.
Drone that picked up some mud and dropped it,
and they're like 20 feet away, and like and can carry the equivalent weight of a tool. Like that's the stage that we're at, but it's also like 3 guys real early. They so the tech is cool. I believe in the trajectory of the tech. I totally trust Luke to know smart, capable people, and if I trust anyone's outsourced judgment to know who the kind of people are who can pull this kind of thing off, like Luke is the guy.
Did you talk to the founder? The guy?
I actually didn't.
You never even talked to the guy?
We emailed. We didn't.
You gotta pick up that phone.
Are you a partner in this fund?
I just rubber stamped yours request.
I didn't talk to the Wearloom founder either.
You got talking about how much you trust Luke.
Yeah.
And Luke is not the guy building this and taking our money. All right, we're gonna have him on. You gotta have him on a podcast or something.
I do want to have on the podcast. I want to go out to Bloomington and go see these drones flying around.
That's a good
That'd be a good drive. But yeah, they build these cool. They're like, I don't know, they're testing these things out, and like there is enough. One of the things I like about them is they are showing progress enough publicly that I didn't feel like I had to like dig into a ton of shit. Like, there's a lot of people that like
there's legit like videos of like, here we are in the shop doing
yeah,
this thing.
they got a YouTube channel. They've been putting up videos for a month. They sent like a deck and a memo and a law. Like there was a lot in there.
Real stuff. We gotta believe they were real. All right, well, I'm going to convince you now, people, dear listeners and LPs that have given us your money. We will not give thousands of dollars to anyone without calling them on the phone.
That is a good.
That is our commitment to you.
That is a good
As
thesis.
stewards of your money.
Did you talk to the Wearloom founders?
Yes, of course I talked to Wearloom.
Just checking.
Sam's a nice guy. Oh, man.
We should have talked about that a few weeks ago.
Can we edit that out in post? Nobody needs to know these dark secrets of ours.
That makes me even more hopeful that this is the fund returning company.
Dear investors, congratulations on being rich already.
Asterisk
There
out.
are no words that will ever be.
So we're excited about.
What made you nervous about this venture?
What made you know?
He has a YouTube channel, so this Nigerian prince must be a real thing. No, let's see. The things that would make me nervous about this investment are strictly that it's like, I mean, it's robots and it's just really early. Like the ability for them to do all the things that it will take to make a house is early. The things that make me excited is like the idea of like going out to some random mountaintop in a desert and not needing to take a cement truck and lumber to build a dwelling. Like, I want to do the tiny home village in the middle of nowhere and just like, great drones, you keep rocking. You fly, drop, charge, and keep going, and we're going to have a bunch of like cool little houses, Adobe houses that the intended lifespan is going to be 15 years. And
Dude, Adobe lasts forever.
listen, I've seen mud in the wild, and it doesn't last forever.
There's like castles in Africa built in this stuff that is like they're like 12 to 16 inches thick.
All right, that sounds pretty good.
They're rad. They're like self.
About Adobe, so I will redact my.
So this is a big part of their collateral. Actually, was like, hey, most people don't know that much about like Adobe Earth structure, but we're trying to like replace the sort of like frame insulated drywall construction thing that has just become popular. That is like not that long lasting, quite expensive, but like cheap plastic materials because there's 4 different subcontractors that have to do all this work. The scheduling, it takes forever, and they're kind of like, look, we have these walls are temperature regulating, humidity regulating. They are super, super structural. They're thick. They're cheaper. They're half the cost. They capture a bunch of carbon, and like we can build them cheaply.
Like, you didn't need cement to build your house, right? Like you start cutting out a lot of the things. Maybe is this a climate investment? This might be in our
like they could reasonably sell. I mean, they probably get some economic boost from carbon credits. I think. I don't know if it's like SG&E investment or whatever.
Things
But
that make me nervous are just like it's a big reach. It's a big reach, and we got to see if it can be done. And also, we've never met this person.
Yeah,
so we don't know if he's real. Those are the two. If I had to pick two, I could feel a little better.
yeah, definitely more risk that we're too early than too late on this one. But I like the fact that there's,
or at least, I mean, we're supposed
yeah,
to
that's where we're supposed to be. Like, yeah, I like the idea that there is a potential for accumulating advantage in like a physical world thing, like the AI that you have to and the software that you have to build in order to train the drones to do the stuff. Like, it is a hardware challenge, but there's software advantages and pricing and scale. And
to pat ourselves on the back, I mean, what you got to do is find some really smart dudes. You don't need company builders at this point. You need guys that can solve the problem, and then we can help them piece together the company builders, right? Like,
yeah,
like this is 3 PhD guys. I don't know if that's who these are, but like I would think you just want 3 really smart humans that are saying, all right, how do we make this thing go? And if they can solve it, we can build a company.
Yeah.
We would happily help them build.
Yeah, it's in some ways it's similar, I think, to gently where that's the risk we want, right? We want the risk of like, hey, we know they're really smart. We know the space is really interesting. We also know it's really hard. But like, these are not companies also that are like ready to take 30 or 40 million. So it is where like $50,000 checks like really help, and the ones that work can really go. And so I think like that should always be the risk category for us. Is like 2, 3, 4 really smart young people, right? But that's the right risk. Check.
Yeah.
Doing something awesome. Like, let's see what happens.
It does feel weird to justify it in audio form after the fact. Where it's like, wait, why did we do this? It's like, no, wait. We find good ideas with founders that want to build them, jockeys that want to ride that horse, and we go back the people and the ideas we think are going to go. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. So, don't make us feel bad, people. That's all we're saying. Like, we're doing a good job.
And that one is 80% tech risk. Like, if they can do that for that much cheaper, then the market will 100% be there, which feels like the right thing to do. Like,
Also,
yeah, those are the right kind of risk.
If it can pick us up and take us for a ride, I think it's all worth it.
I think that's coming.
We could pay back this full amount.
I mean, if they can, like, how many, like, I don't know, 10 of those drones, they can pick up a 20-pound brick? It's probably more than that. I think the weight of those things is probably...
No, it is hard. Like, with the quadcopter, there's a quadcopter that was, like, giving
rides.
Not a human cockpit thing. No, but it's a hard technical challenge to like lift 300 pounds.
Yeah, stably, and then apply force with the tool while staying stable in the air. But and that's what was in that post. Is like basically this whole like 10-year history of advances in drone, like AI piloted drones that can do crazy stability, and like you can just throw one up in the air upside down and it'll immediately like self-right and navigate and no, like, you know what drones are. I think underestimating like the ability for tech to self-drive those things and stabilize and what becomes possible like this when they become bigger scale is pretty rad. So that's my rationalization. We'll see. If the CEO is a real person, then that's true. Look, he sent me emails. He's probably a real person.
I think it's very, very important we bring him on the next podcast. Maybe the most important thing we do in the history of our fund, guys, is actually, and maybe even fly him to physics in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just wants you to drink a vermin. What's so hard about that? A newspaper with today's date on it.
So that's the wrap for Q1 funds. One company with a real founder and one with a hypothetical founder, and I feel good about both of them.
Yeah, I did.
Equally good.
Let's follow. We got some Q2 ones we've already done.
Q2. Lumo was the first.
Let me give you Lumo first, because Lumo is a friend of mine. His name is John Hinnigan, and he is a human being that I am touched with my hands.
Why were you touching John Hinnigan?
With my hands. So John is a super smart engineer. Like, I tried to build things with John a few times, so I could talk him into coming and working with me. I would have. He built a company called ThinkNear, which was with Techstars back in 2010. Him and Ellie. They built this company that was the first hyper-local DMP for like mobile advertising. The idea being like you could walk into a Toyota within 100 yards of a Toyota dealership and Ford would serve you an ad. Right? They were like the first guys to come up with that. Sold that like 8 months after they started it to Telenav, the Israeli GPS company. And then he went on like. Just did nothing for a while. Then he was working at Google and Amazon, padding the resume, a bunch of golden handcuffs. Was dying to get out of there, and came up with this idea, Lumo, which is it's like a water management software. So it's agriculture-ish a little bit, but they're starting with wineries, people that need like precise amounts of water at precise intervals. And the big opportunity they found is like there's. Right now in that space, there's like, you got to spend a bunch of money on the hardware, and there's zero software for it. So they're like, well, we'll just make this SaaS. You don't have any upfront hardware costs. You're just going to pay us a decent monthly fee, and we'll put the hardware in and rotate it out and give you great software, and we think we can win a bunch of this business. They got great backers and advisors for people in that space. But the thing that makes us excited about it is where they want to go with it, where they see water rights sort of being represented on the blockchain and being bought and sold and being able to facilitate that sort of water like analysis and measurement is a big deal in that world where that exists. And then taking the tech they build for that and putting it like in every place that water's touched is where we see it. And so incredibly smart people. They've already got they had prototypes out in the field, and customers already signing up for it. They'll be like in a good cash flow position in a year or two with the investment they've got right now. They don't need a ton of money to get somewhere interesting. And so that was that one. Like good actual human, great bit of tech and sort of tech insight in the space where they're just like, man, we're going to be dumb enough to go and build software for a thing. There's not a farmer that has irrigation that can pull up his phone and be like, there, it's all set up. And look, it's perfect. Here's how much water went in. And here's how it went. It's like, you look at these old dials and like, think of your sprinkler systems that were in your dad's garage. Like that's still how it runs. And so replacing all of that with new tech, new software, new hardware, doing the whole thing. I think so.
And it's a good mix, similar to Density, the pattern of like they are producing the hardware, but selling it in a SaaS model.
Yeah. Oh, and let me tell you, I guess if there was a thing that I was nervous about with them, it's that they would get stuck along the way to the big vision in trying to support a customer base in an $80 million market, right? Mm-hmm. Like they go and get $80 million and they're sitting in a spot. There's a very real chance to support those customers. It consumes all their time and energy, and they can never get to the stuff that we're really excited about. Would probably be my biggest fear, but not a terrible outcome for us, even if that does happen. But they're smart enough. They got stuff coming out. I'm confident in a lot of areas, but their version 1 market is big enough that it could swallow them, but small enough that it's not huge for us.
Yeah, I feel like there's distribution risk in agriculture. Just that's a hard market. Yeah. But yeah, I think I agree. High odds of a decent SaaS business with potential upside for something huge. He's committed me to
catfishing for the product on farmersonly.com, so I might have to.
Oh, you would crush on farmersonly.com.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to say that. Happily married, so it would have to be a catfish. It couldn't be real.
So it's what you expect.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the other? I feel like there was another thing to cover on Lumo. The California is starting to regulate requiring reporting for water use and irrigation, but potentially way more of that.
Yeah, literally, if you have a personal well, you now need need a solution that monitors and measures and says how much you do. And nobody's got great versions of that yet.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go build it, guys.
Yeah. So Lumo can help automate that reporting.
It could accelerate a lot. There's a real chance that a big opportunity meets these guys on their path.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
There's a lot of
again, kind of climate techy in nature. Maybe we're very influenced.
Maybe we are. Maybe we're going to save the planet on accident.
Biodome 2 will be about us.
I think last podcast we created peace. So now we'll just create abundance. Everybody will have a home and water, and
you're welcome.
Everything will be easy. And gently used clothes.
Let me early congratulate you.
Congratulations. Yes. Okay, next second company in Q2, Stablegains, which came from
Will we be in Stablegains by the time this goes live?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, good.
Yeah. Well, we can cover Stablegains. These guys reached out when they're about to be finished with YC, and just reached out and were like, "Hey, I saw that you invest now. We've been reading your stuff for a little bit, and it'd be great if you."
Eric. He gets deal flow because people.
This is that passive,
They've never met him, but
inbound
they
deal
assume
flow.
because they email him. He's very smart.
It's true, like being able to really carefully curate the stupid things that you say out of your personal presence and just publish the smart things online really creates this false impression of intelligence.
No, you're
This is
smart.
beautiful.
You're nice.
These guys I did talk to.
I'm so sorry. That's now the trope that we're.
I can't even edit it out now because it's been recurring. So yeah, thank you, appreciate that. No, it's a lesson well learned. Talk to the founders you invest in. I was just trying to be low maintenance. It wasn't our biggest check.
Yeah.
There was a tight timeline.
Yeah.
I was traveling. I didn't want to bother people, so we just said yes.
I'm unclear if this podcast will be publishable.
We're so sorry that we lost. Wait, were we making fun of the fast co-founder, or were we on his side? I can't remember. I'm so sorry that we lost your $20 million.
I think he took secondary.
I tried so hard to build this company for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Stablegains. Stablegains.
Stablegains founders reach out. They're in YC currently. They have a relatively high valuation for having already being like as far along as they are, but they are growing insanely fast. The product is basically a very simple Web 2 front end for currently Anchor protocol, but soon to be other crypto stuff. And it basically like anybody, including your mom, can go on and deposit money and earn 15% a year on your cash. There's still risk there, like Anchor is new and
My favorite part was when Bo was analyzing this and said, I threw $1 million into a thing and tried out with another one, and I made money on that too. It worked like this.
Actually, we talked. This one I like because last podcast we talked about kind of where Web 2 and Web 3 meet.
Yeah.
And there's all of this stuff going on in Web 3 that people are trying to figure out. And it's crazy that you can go just as an individual and lend money to people who are going out and making very big bets in the world of crypto, and lending that money pays outside of the rewards because it's like just a new frontier. And the Stablegains guys have just done the, hey, what if we made a really clean Web 2 front end to get exposure to that Web 3? There's margin in it for us because it's hard to go get spun up in the crypto world and have the right wallet and buy the right thing. And they're like, instead, you can just send us your money and we'll go chase and secure the kind of highest gains for you with no work. And that just, I think we're going to see actually like hundreds of companies like this.
Yeah.
That just like Web3 easy button. And
Yeah.
it's actually going to really help Web3 because it's going to onboard all these people who might not have gotten into it. And then you start digging around and figuring out like, hey, there's like a lot of ways to kind of like leverage that whole ecosystem. And so these guys are just kind of right down the middle of that thesis, I think.
yeah.
When I loved, like, your experiment was like, all right, I can go and do this myself. So you connected your wallet and you went and staked it against the thing, and you earned good returns.
And I think the whole time, if I asked my dad to do this, there's literally zero chance.
Wait, like this is your world. There was like 45 minutes to get done, but you did it, and you're making a great return. It's like, all right, you can ACH money in, and like my dad can ACH money, and so like you go to Stablegains, connect the bank account, put 10 grand in, and you're going to earn 15% on that over the course of a year. And like the fact that our dads can go and do this, or our moms can go and do this, and they don't have to get a wallet, and they don't have to worry about what are gas fees and am I on the right protocol. I mean, I've like tried to do. I'm not a dummy. I think I've got like a couple grand stuck in some random protocol somewhere, like on the way. The gas fees didn't work out, and now I'm like, well, I need Ethereum now to get that money. Screw it. I'm just like, maybe it'll grow.
Yeah.
But like, my mom could never navigate that world. She'll be like, oh, so I just wired or ACH 10 grand in, and then I get this money, and it'll give it back to me, and I can pull my money out anytime, and I don't have to think about a wallet or a protocol or learn any of that stuff. And the fact that it's a 2-minute thing that they shaved it down 45, and you get. And Stablegains, obviously, they get a little chunk of that return as their profit.
Yeah.
So, like, you would give that up so that you didn't have to worry about it. You could talk in dollars and not points if you're an old dog. So like it a lot. Think that there's a ton of room. If you're building more like this, talk to us.
Yeah.
Tell us what's up.
Yeah. It's not a lot of the crypto native people are like, oh, this, like, they just don't to them, using a wallet is easy, and they're like, everybody should have their own private keys and be fully decentralized and all this stuff. And it's just, I think they underestimate how much of an on-ramp people need with tools and products and stuff that they're familiar with. And so I think we're going to see like quite a long period of time where these are all really good businesses and actually position really well to go from, you know, Stablegains with 10 million or 100 million users could very easily say like, hey, do you want an extra 3%? Do you want to move this, transition this to your own wallet? Do you want to like turn this into coins? So I think it's a really cool thing. They're growing like 15% a week or something insane like that. They're new, so the numbers aren't small, but they're big enough to be meaningful. The payback on a new customer is like less than a month, which is crazy. So yeah, excited about that one. Definitely risks involving like competitive things. I think like there's nothing deeply proprietary about it. So there's a little bit of a blitzkrieg. There is, I mean, underlying risk of whatever protocols they're built on. So like if the stablecoins lose their peg, I think a lot of people that don't fully understand what's happening on the back end of that 15% will be like pissed, and they'll be pissed at Stablegains, not be like, oh, I took an assumed risk that I understood perfectly, and life happens. Like that could be bad.
But also, that's why you give them a chunk of the return, so that you
For sure.
someone that's like stressed about that and adding other options and diversifying. Like,
Yeah, and that's all on their roadmap.
which, man, it really like it's one of those things where it's easy to look at and be like, everybody should just be able to do this and they can make it themselves. Like, why would we invest in this? But man, the Web 2.0 version of Web 3.0, there's a lot of money to be made there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing companies that are working on clean on ramps to Web3.
Yeah.
And they're really hard to build, I think, and it takes people who really understand the not clean on ramp, because they're not just building it for themselves, they're building it for other people. And I think that space is going to be really hot, and it's going to grow really fast, and it's actually going to drag people into Web3 in ways that they never would have gotten there themselves, and which just creates more and more kind of value in the ecosystem. So, you set it out. Like, I love this kind of company. The more companies we can see like this, I think the better, because there'll be lots and lots of winners.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, I think, who are like calling for, oh, we need easier onboard wallets, easier this, and like this is actually the solution. It's like make it feel like something that you already know how to use.
I love like white label this, let every neobank let you earn 15% in their little thing, and then like use Stablegains in the back end. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Okay. So things that anybody listening can do to help those companies. I mean, gently.com you can just use.
Yeah, go sign up.
Lumo or Terran, like their customers are general contractors, and they're hiring mostly engineers.
If you're an engineer and want to work on robotics and quadcopters,
if you're a general contractor who's cool and believes in the future that is also cool, and want to build some Earth houses, you can reach out to Terran.
are they
Build some cool stuff. Yeah, they've already had a few LOIs like this summer, which is rad.
I'll be a contractor. I'll set it up.
I was like this. It's like I want to. Yeah.
I said these guys are a short hop away from Al's true wisdom of they don't have to even buy a city; they can just build a city themselves. So maybe they just
Wouldn't that be great? Some big rancher with 7,000 acres, just like, how did the town get here? It's like it's the future of swatting somebody where you're like, no, I'm going to build a house in your backyard.
I bet Al can't keep a close eye on all 200 of those acres. I bet we could sneak something in there.
1,000%. I'm just feeling like they're here. The squatters are here.
We're gonna build a podcast studio in your deep in your woods.
Joby podcast studio
Squat on
the
that.
ranch would be amazing.
Or
Yeah.
go to a helicopter pad for some hospital and just squat there in your new house that you built.
I hope we can build it fast enough that it just like happens in the middle of the night. Like
That's what I'm envisioning. I think
Yeah.
an 8-hour turnaround. Have a cup of coffee in the morning. What's up, guys?
this.
You didn't want my house? Fine. Fine. Your house. Whatever.
I saw it on the Terran YouTube channel. There's a new video. They like built a test wall and then we're like seeing how robust it was, and they started like shooting at it and it's bulletproof. Started shooting like big rifles at it, still bulletproof. Stood there with a like polybutylene torch for like 5 minutes, still perfectly standing
It doesn't
fine.
sound like that engaging of a YouTube video.
It was.
5 minutes of standing.
They smash cut in the middle of the torching part, but like robust walls.
As walls.
Drywall ain't bulletproof.
No.
Yeah. You're worried about kids punching a hole in the drywall?
You're worried
Not
about
going to happen.
Russians invading, in which we have to be now.
Yeah.
Because Russia sucks all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Build a water effect. What are these things we're ready?
Got to hurry up with Terran. Mostly to make me look less stupid.
I like that. I would love it if he got on here. It's like, actually, it's pronounced Tehran. Like the first thing out of this. Don't want you to feel like an idiot. It's Tehran.
We wanted it to get confused with, yeah. Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, like fund updates. Despite our stupidity, or at least my stupidity, I'll only speak for myself on that. We have a number of new very smart LPs, which continues to surprise and amaze and delight me. Balaji became an investor the last couple of months. Yeah.
I will say he's never talked to us. I don't know. You've talked to him.
Yeah.
I've never talked to him. Is he real? He might just be an AI simulation.
Look, Al, you got to believe that people that you haven't touched are real. Like, yeah, that is a thing that exists.
Okay, all right. I'll take this. It seems crazy to me, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see over and over. So I'm working on
No, he's great, though.
And he's killed it on a bunch of his investments. Are you
doing like a futurist book with him or something?
I'm doing an almanac of Balaji next, like same style as the one with Naval, but for Balaji. And so I'm spending like multiple hours a day reading all the stuff he's ever written and said, and like learning all this.
How cool that he's coming in on us.
Yeah. Awesome. And I keep being like, hey, I'm investing in these companies that there's literally a few paragraphs that he's like predicting something exactly like Stablegains. He's like, we will see a ton of like very friendly Web 2 front ends with crypto back ends, and like we've had fintech for 20 years that has just been like covering up the dog shit infrastructure, but now crypto will actually make the infrastructure work. But the UIs, we've already spent so much time making them great, so just use the great UIs and like speed everything up on the back end. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
Balaji said that, smart thing. Stablegains. Yep, let's do that. And then I was like, hey, Balaji, this is like 2 times this has happened now where like you talked about a thing conceptually that I ended up then investing in. And if you want us to like put some of your money in these things, like this is great. And he's like, yeah, cool. Love it. Awesome. Yeah, it's all, thank you, Balaji. Yeah, all like ideologically aligned. And he's always like 10 years ahead, and he's killed it with that, which just kind of makes me more confident being like, yeah, let's do the stuff that's like crazy far out.
He is a fun thinker, man. I listened to this Tim Ferriss podcast, and just like a very thoughtful. I expect like futurist guys to talk like I get talking about fast guy. Oh my god, it's gonna be so crazy. I'm like, they're gonna come in. It's gonna be wild. It's just like he's very measured. Like, no, so I've thought about this, and here's my thinking.
Yeah,
and I don't need to convince you. My words will do their work.
So he's awesome. Matt Getz, president or CEO of Block Tower Capital, which is delightful since we were like, hell yeah, let's do all the crypto stuff we can. They see amazing deals, and he's and Ari are just wildly smart, and everybody that I met there is awesome. And they're starting like a later stage VC fund now too. So we'll just have like more and more and more stuff.
A lot of them are pro rata.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely hope we can have a good like be functional scouts for them kind of through this.
Yeah, awesome.
So that's a cool one. Stu Ludlow, who we're meeting just after this, he was the CTO of RFP 365. He already did. Don't be mad. Yeah, really good CTO, working on something cool crypto stuff next.
What is it? C2FO?
RFP 365. Oh. What did I say?
I don't know.
Oh, thanks.
Anyway,
go Stu. Yeah, RFP 365. One of those like classic, like very boring but wildly profitable Kansas City tech companies, which seems to be what we specialize in.
Yeah. Can we get a consumer breakout out of here that's not H&R Block?
Yeah, what would it take? Hallmark? AMC?
AMC's
yeah. It's not going to be Zarly. That was. We held hopes of that one for a while.
Pretzel. I'll do pretzel.
Yeah. You're up.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure.
What's the pretzel update, Al?
Pretzel, dude, we're gonna launch in 2 weeks. We're launched. I mean, you can go get us in the App Store. We're the third. When you search for pretzel in the App Store, we're the third one behind Auntie Anne's and like corn dog on a stick. But, we are gonna rise in those ranks, and we got a couple of features that are gonna go live that we're excited about, which will finally. I mean, everybody signs up. You sign up right now and put all your accounts on there, and you're like, huh. Come back, and that's what we're trying. That's the loop we're closing. We'll get that all circled around. I want you listeners to know we will not be investing in Pretzel as the rolling fund. We find it conflict of interest because I know that it just would feel weird. But if you'd like exposure to that company, call me. I'll talk to you.
I'm glad he didn't ask us. It would have been awkward.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
Like you have to recuse yourself from this.
I was like, do we want to? They're like, no, we don't. I even said no. I refused my own offer. I was like, let me put on my rolling fund. This feels weird.
Okay, what else we got? We have okay. So the Q1, Q2 thing, especially after I wrote Terran, people kept asking like, am I exposed to this or this? And so each quarter is its own individual fund, and the deadline is like the last day of the second month of the quarter to subscribe and be included in that quarter. So end of February was the deadline to subscribe to the fund to get Q1 exposure, and end of May is going to be for Q2, and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah. So you guys can still be a part of these. Lumo
Of Q2.
Stablegains and whatever else we go into.
Yeah, for the first couple weeks that this podcast is out, you can still subscribe to that.
That feels generous of us. You're welcome.
It is a pretty cool, I think it is not common that you can know some of what is in the fund that you're investing in already.
Yeah.
That's not common in that world, but you basically can wait 60 days to see what's in a quarter and then get into it.
That's why I'm taking everybody along the journey. This isn't a normal bit of visibility into the process for most funds.
I feel like we could do better at this if we were less honest about what we were doing and
You're
how.
saying if we lied a little bit.
I'm saying
I
just
think that's actually the standard practice.
Dude, but-
The fact that we're like, we are nervous about some stuff.
Yeah.
Also, we're optimistic and we hope everything turns out great.
Yeah.
It's very rare. So,
Yeah.
good on us, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Good on you.
Good on
And good on you for putting good on us. Thank you for doing that.
we. It's all about we.
Okay, I think another thing, a ton of LPs and listeners have just said a big part of their motivation was sort of learning how to angel invest along with us and getting a sense of what goes well in deals and what goes poorly and what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, quote unquote. And so I feel like it'd be good to talk about some of the reasons that we passed on companies that we passed on, not just what we went into. I don't want to say specific companies that we passed, but a reason to not invest in a company to show some of that kind of the other path that deal flow goes in.
Yeah, so there's a couple of reasons that come to mind, right? One is that they're too far along. So for us, a $25K check that in a $100 billion company, we're saying even if it does get to $1 billion, it's a $250K return, that's not early enough. And that'd be a great return.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll do some of those down the road, but that we literally have to look for these very early, very risky, could it possibly happen because of the check size we're writing? An $80 million company doesn't make sense, or a $100 million company doesn't make sense to get into necessarily. Where something at 30 or 50 would be easier for us to justify. So valuation starts to matter. Let's see, what else?
By the same token, it's got to either. But the rule that I go back to is I have to be able to see that it can 100x. So that either means you got to be early with something that's
If it's 100xing at 100 million, man, what if we got it at 10?
I mean, I would absolutely invest in Stripe at 100 million, right? But in retrospect, obviously that's a great idea. But if you see a true platform, something that keeps going that big, that is huge, sure.
It's crazy. Stripe at $6 billion was a genius idea still, right? It's
yeah.
like just being able to have that visibility to see it.
And that's why I go back to 100x rather than like, oh, 100 million is too high of a valuation.
Yeah, that's right.
And by the same token, like, something that's a $10 million valuation has to be able to get bigger than 100 million.
Well,
like
the thing that's enticing about those like further along companies is they've got it figured out, right? It's like, hey, we're making money, we're doing great.
Yeah.
We're a $60 million company. It's like, yeah, I would love to be in that because look, you're printing money. You've nailed it.
Yeah.
Now this feels like a very confident spend where the risk and reward happens in this other stage. But man, you want it's so alluring to be there in that very safe, we're making money spot.
Yeah. And then there's some that are just like high ass valuations. They're like, hey, we have a deck and we're raising on a 30 million. It's like, that's
YC.
That's YC. That's YC marking up their own prior fund.
What are the other reasons that we let go? Like,
I find all of the deals that we've looked at so far, as soon as I can put them into a bucket that I don't care about learning more about.
Yeah.
I don't actually care what the deal is, to be honest with you. I don't care that much. If it's not interesting for me to think we're going to spend time talking about it and it's going to teach us about other investments and introduce us to I think that to me is is it a thing that we are interested in getting smarter about as they build the company? And when it's not, then that's the easy out for me. Actually more than valuation, more than anything else, because I think it's just a big part of this for me. It's I love reading these and thinking I did not know the water industry was so interesting. And then you start digging into it and you're holy cow, it's massive and it's interesting. Let's do a deal there and see what happens.
Well, you almost want to like chat with the founders, right?
Yeah.
Like have that be exciting. Where we have had a few where they're like, we're building in a new Lego block. I don't know what a dumb idea would be, but like parking for universities. It's like, all right, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. We don't like. I want no part of that. Even though you might make great money, I hope you do.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a thing that we want exposure on.
Yeah.
Some. I mean, what would make you say no to a founder? I don't know. Like again, getting on the as we talk to them, because I've been on calls where we talk to most of these people, and they'll say, "I'm so sorry not to." I feel like such a. But I'm saying, we'll get on the phone with them, we chat with these guys, and some of them he's just get a weird vibe from, where it's like I'm kind of going back to the hangout thing. I just don't want to know you better.
which is reasonably predictive of are people going to want to work for you? Are other investors going to want to invest in you? That is not just being selfish with your time, but it's a decent predictor of how everything else is going to go.
Why else would we say no so far?
On a founder level on that topic, I think there are. I don't know if this is founder or market, but there's a bunch that I think are this is a shoe in for a $50 million company, or you just get the sense of this founder wants to build their company and exit, and they will take any capital that they can do to get there, but they're not truly building a venture scale business to exit at some massive thing. Yeah. Yeah, or just a very niche SaaS app or something that's this is a great investment. It's just for a different kind of fund.
I will tell you one of the things that's been a big win that I didn't have as a single investor, as a solo investor, is we literally had a couple of companies that we were looking at. We're like, these are good ideas, and then all of a sudden we have 10 companies. We got to choose 2, and all of a sudden we got way better at picking, right? Which I never solo Al. I'm just I like you. Great, here's the check. I like it. Here's the check. Now all of a sudden, with our combined deal flow, we have the
it's a forced curve.
Yeah.
It's great. You love them all.
Yeah.
Which 2 kids are your favorite? You got to pick 2 that you're going to save.
Yeah.
I only had 2.
In a fire, I know I'd have to leave one.
One range arm. Yeah. I think that's it is painful to have high opportunity cost. And I'm learning to separate, this is an investable company. I like all these 10 from this is let's look at them as a set and see what is actually our best opportunity, or set of opportunities, and try to kind of get our money into those.
So if you're investing at home, I mean, that's probably one of the best things you can do is don't write a check in isolation. If you like that company, go, what other 10 companies are doing something similar? And who would you write a check into if you could? That's probably a more positive way to look at it.
Yeah.
Or to approach it that's going to be safe for your money.
Or even, I mean, like, I think you said your structure last time was like, you'd basically write 4 checks a year. It's like 1 a quarter, but like try to look at, the 5 that you're going to get that quarter together, not, don't be like a first to the post, process.
We get together for lunch once a month. I mean, this is kind of our first time doing a lot of this. And so, like, we got together today to talk through, like, 5 new deals. We're like, all right, let's say no to these and say yes to this one. And,
we like them all, but we like these best. One other reason for declines, to finish that off, is an unfortunate one, is API risk. Like, I've seen like companies that are built entirely on other companies where there's like a single point of like
Facebook shuts off the pipe and you're dead.
Yeah. Like there's a few success stories there, but I feel like there's a huge graveyard. Zynga is the success story that I thought of, but there's a lot more companies that I feel like
ecosystem, any modern Facebook ecosystem,
Instagram, Twitter, like you can build an amazing company really fast to 10 million and then have it die and disappear, and everything looks great until the moment that it flops.
I feel so bad for those founders, man.
It sucks. They were so right.
Great products, it's a better experience.
And they like deserve, like, and the customer loves the product and deserves access to that data in that way that like the platform just hasn't bothered to build yet. But it's like, hey, we'll probably do it someday, so we can't let them create value like on our data.
Platforms, though, right? Like,
yeah.
The platform companies are $800 billion, trillion-dollar companies, and the feature companies are not, because they live at the mercy. They live at the mercy of the platforms. So it's tough.
Yeah. Maybe are there other VCs or seed stage people that we really like or look up to or admire?
None that are better than us. What are you talking about?
Al is his own hero. He just,
I mean, we can help them
like,
if they need a,
like Matthew McConaughey.
This feels so awkward. We are willing to mentor any other seats.
Oh God. Nobody who knows what they're really doing would have made it this far in this podcast. No, I like so Steve Jurvetson is like someone I've listened to forever that I just love as being like. Draper Fisher Jurvetson is the fun. He's just like as far future out as you can get. He's like been investing in quantum computing for like 15 years, and he's just like the stones to be like, we're going to look at this thing for 20 years. It's a very different type of investing because they can do their own follow-on for very long periods of time. But he's like literally finding scientists who are like making new discoveries and being like, yeah, let's hitch up a wagon and go the 15 years all the way to commercialization with this stuff. But it's like truly translating scientific breakthroughs. It's awesome.
Like, all right, I'm going to spend 2 decades with you.
Yeah.
Like Brad Feld at Founder Group. One of his good stories is like investing in a company called Harmonix. It was like 3 MIT guys that after 15 years did GarageBand, right? Or not GarageBand. It was
Pandora?
no. What's the Xbox one?
Rock Band?
Yeah, Rock Band.
Okay.
Is that right?
Guitar Hero?
Guitar Hero.
You can do this all day. Rock Band is like Guitar Hero with drums. Yeah.
They were just like doing cool things and like figured it out. 15 years later was a great return for them. It's like just to be patient that long and like encouraging and keep them alive so that you can see that return. Like what a great legacy to have. That's Steve. Cool guy. Wait, do you know him or are you just saying?
No, I just like him.
George
I just
Washington.
like him.
Abraham Lincoln. I'm so sorry. Can I go back next month myself?
Al's band. We're replacing him.
Wait, why are you voting? What does this mean?
Off the island. We're gonna bring in a founder. And then...
I just want all the audio clips of Al saying, "I'm so sorry."
That'll be our outro. Oh,
It's going to be my new notification when he sends a text. It's going to just say, "I'm so sorry, guys."
oh.
All right, we're gonna wrap up. Maybe is there a dream company that you have to invest in?
That exists already, or that is not yet?
This is not yet exists. Or yeah.
need a minute to think about that. That's a pretty heavy question.
The dream company. No, I want quadcopter rides. I want the personal transportation jetpack thing. I walk out of my garage and just like the Jetsons. Can we get the Jetsons transport thing?
Yeah. The most recent podcast I just did with the guy Josh Storrs Hall is like all about. He's like, we could basically have the Jetsons if we had nanotech and nuclear, and we just haven't. We haven't bothered with nanotech because nobody gets how awesome it would be, and nuclear. Basically, the government has like made it completely illegal to do any sort of nuclear power.
Did you see that propaganda movie, Big Hero 6, about nanotech? Dude, a bunch of my friends are like the hard right-wing ones, and right now there's this meme going around about Disney being run by Freemason pedophiles. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, it is wild. I'm like, really? We're there. We're just all out right there. Wow. And I think it all started with Big Hero 6. I'm just saying, with the nanotech, with the nanobots, this is where those Freemasons are making.
That sounds like a Ryan Breslow thread right there. That's.
It's a conspiracy, guys. It's a conspiracy. Yeah, that's a good conspiracy theory. When I got married, this is one of my favorite moments. Was like my wife was like, "Wait, do you believe that they landed on the moon?" And I was like, "What? How did I miss this in dating? Like, we've never talked about conspiracy theories." She's like, "I'm just saying." I was like, "Oh my gosh, we've been married 6 months. Like, I can't just know this."
It's better than like believing in ghosts. That's a pretty like benign one, is it?
Yeah, No, I know people that believe in ghosts. They go on.
I actually, now that I think of it,
I never know if they really believe in ghosts or if it's all like, are they joking? Because I'm like, yeah, ghosts would be crazy, and they're like, I know. Like, okay. Well, as long as we all know, then I think we're on the same page. Wait, back to your dream.
Did you ask her if she was a flat earther?
How do you feel about Kyrie Irving? Yeah. Well, that is one of the funny things about being married. Is like now there's somebody who'll be like, "What do you believe? You read what now?" I'm sorry, I am of a much different education of what happens on the other side.
Look, it's fine. We'll stay together. Just don't tell the kids you think that.
We can work through this. It's like, why am I the crazy one? You're the crazy one. Anyway. About my marriage.
How long have you been married? 6 months. This was last night.
She's great. Love you, Granny. Hey, what's your dream company? Eric's is nanotech and nuclear.
I don't know. Like my real dream company, it's like probably like teleportation space. Like that's the one that like.
Is that a thing? Can that ever happen?
I don't think so, but that's why it's a dream company and not one that we've already invested in.
Anytime you fall asleep when you take off in an airplane, wake up when you land.
Yeah, it's teleportation.
That's the magical feeling. If you could make that like concise.
I would like to invest in a company that would put me in a medically induced coma and then travel me and then wake me up when I'm there. That's the closest to teleportation, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I would take the teleportation even as stuff as a dream company.
That would be pretty right,
like,
yeah.
I just need this phone to go to my brother right now, and I can just put it in a box and it goes there, but like instantly.
And a guy in a brown suit picks it up and puts it there, and it just magically shows up on the other side of the world.
Jeff Bezos.
We got to know this company. Don't realize the opportunity.
Thank you for putting up with us once again. It's been an honor to have your ears polluted by our ideas. Thank you for your time.
I feel terrible for the audio editor.
We can't post this. We cannot.
Which I knew the moment you